everyone, and welcome back to the Loome Shack. In today's video, we're actually going to be showing you how to connect to Snowflake Cloud Data Platform using Loome Integrate. In this video, we'll be creating a simple Snowflake connection, and then on top of that, creating a migration from an on-premises SQL server into a Snowflake data warehouse database. We hope you enjoyed today's video, and as always, make sure to click subscribe below and hit like on the video to see more similar to this one. Let's get into it. And here we are back in our Loome Shack tenant. Now before we create a Snowflake connection today, we just have to check if SnowSQL is installed on the host of our agent. SnowSQL is a command line tool developed by Snowflake, which is used for uploading data into Snowflake as efficiently as possible. For our migration today, we'll be making use of SnowSQL, and so we'll need to make sure that the agent has access to the tool. Now when running the installation of the agent for the first time, you are prompted to install SnowSQL if you require it. If you have already installed SnowSQL, you can skip this first part of the video. However, for purposes of making sure that everyone's on the same page, I'll be going through how to check now. The first step to check if you have SnowSQL installed is to go to the directory where your agent installation script was and open a command prompt in that same directory or a Windows PowerShell. To check that SnowSQL is installed, type SnowSQL, one word. As you can see, on my local laptop, I have SnowSQL installed. I'm just going to quickly uninstall SnowSQL so I can show users who may not have the product installed how you can install it through the Loome Integrate installer. I've just uninstalled SnowSQL, so now I'm going to run the agent installer. As part of the installation process, the Loome Integrate install script will check if SnowSQL is installed and prompt the user to install it if they would like. This can take a few minutes, so we'll cut back to this in a minute and have a look where we need to do. Now with my agent downloaded, I'll be prompted if I'll be using Snowflake Cloud Data Warehouse with this agent. Typing yes will install the SnowSQL utility. Once this is done, the agent will be able to use the SnowSQL utility. Note that in some cases you may need to restart the service for the agent. To find the name of the service your agent is running under, simply go to the Agents page in Loome Integrate, click Setup Agent, and go to Next Steps for Windows. At the bottom, you'll see that if running as a service, the service will be named and the agent will be provided there. Now that we're back in our Loome Integrate tenant, we can create a Snowflake connection. To add the connection, click the drop down from the top right and select Connections. Then we need to click Add Connection in the top right. My Snowflake connection will be called Snowflake Target, although you can name it whatever you'd like. And we can filter by the box here and type in Snowflake, as that will bring up our Snowflake connection type. In the Snowflake configuration, there's a few parts, so I'll go through these individually with you. The first is your Snowflake username and password. This is used to connect to the Snowflake data warehouse as a particular user account. You can create multiple Snowflake connections with different usernames and passwords if you require it. For our connection string, there's a few parts to this as well, so we'll go through each property individually and then set it up. The first property is the account. This account's used for Snowflake billing purposes and is required for connecting to Snowflake. Your host is provided to you by Snowflake and is the host name of your Snowflake computing data warehouse. You can find this easily by going to the Snowflake portal and copying the host name. Note that you do not want to include HTTPS or HTTP at the start of your host name. By default, Snowflake will connect to the Snowflake data warehouse as the public role, although you can change this if you require it. The database is the database you're connecting to within your Snowflake data warehouse. You can have multiple Snowflake connections connected to multiple Snowflake databases. And for your warehouse, this is the warehouse that will be used for data migrations and SQL statements in the Snowflake data migration. I'm going to replace these values with my values, and we will scroll down to the bottom of the field, where we will see the validate with agent is set to our local agent that's on my laptop. Clicking submit will create the connection, and as you can see, Loome Integrate has successfully validated the connection. Next, we'll go to the data migrations project and create a new job for our Snowflake migration. As you can see, I've created one here previously. And now we need to add a Snowflake migration. We can do this by clicking New Task and going to the Task Builder. For our Snowflake migration, I'm going to simply call it Snowflake Migration and make sure that it runs on my agent. We'll then select Data Migration as the task type. With a Snowflake migration, we select a source, which is going to be my SQL Server, as well as a target connection, which will be my Snowflake target. As you can see, additional drop-downs are added at the bottom of the connections page. This staging connection and file type define the intermittent connection that's used from getting the data from the source to the target. We require this so that Snowflake can use the most efficient means of getting the data into your warehouse. By default, we should be using the Snowflake internal stage, which is selected, and the file type of flat file. Note that you should only change this to Parquet when storage requirements on the agent are slim. For our source, we'll be using the sales LT schema again, which we used in our previous SQL Server video. This schema contains sample sales data that is good for data migrations. Our target schema will then be DBO. For our source, we'll then select a few tables to pull into our Snowflake data warehouse. I'm going to go with customer and product. And there you have it, your first Snowflake data migration created in Loome Integrate. Once we click run on the migration, this will import data into the Snowflake data warehouse. And there you have it, we've just created our first migration from SQL Server into Snowflake data warehouse using Loome Integrate. We hope you enjoyed today's video and found it informative. We will be bringing more videos about Loome Integrate, as well as all the other database connections that can be created in the application. Stay tuned for that, hit subscribe below, and as always, have a great day. See ya.